So the recording has officially started. Landon, do you need something? What? Yeah. Okay. So yeah, HMH is going very slow again today. I got a thing that was like, oh, it'll be, not working, but when I'll share it on my screen too. So if it's not working for you at home, it's no big deal. You'll be able to see. Okay. Okay. Come on. Wait. You know what? I'll just stand right here. Don't mind my moving around. Okay. There's my lovely paper. You guys can hear me. Okay. So the first thing we're going to talk about today is some new root words. Last week or 2 weeks ago, we learned about a root word. Does anyone remember what root we learned about? Mrs. Siddick's computer is on here because I'm looking at it on the screen. So you're going to have to go to people and find it. What root did we learn about last week and what did it mean? What root did we learn about last week and what did it mean? Olivia. We did not learn about photo. Close though. You're really close. Bryden? Phone. Yep. And Presley also said it. We learned about phone. P-H-O-N. And it means sound. So good job. Those of you that knew it, even if I didn't call on you, good job. We're going to learn about 3 new ones today that we're going to need. We're going to review a few times over the next few days. All right, let's see if this is going to be upside down or what. We'll see. Okay, so first one, we're going to learn about photo. We're going to learn about odd, and we're going to learn about viz, okay? And let me rotate this till we can read it. Oh, look, there we go. Cool. Or can we not? Is this? Maybe Mrs. Kneifel will write it upside down. Now it's backwards. Oh my goodness. This is not working for me today. I swear I've done this before. Why is it not working? Okay. I know. Okay, Ethan, thank you for helping. It's not actually helping right now. Okay. Why is this not working? It totally worked last time. Just write the words upside down. You know what? I'm just going to talk us through it, okay? So I'm going to voice it while I'm writing it, and I will take a picture of it when we're done, and I will post it to our Google Classroom, okay? So you're going to verbally hear it, and then at the end, you're going to see it forever. So I'm sorry, it's just not working. Life is just a mess today. I don't know what to tell us, okay? And so it's backwards on your screen, but you're going to verbally be able to hear it. At the end, I'll post a picture, okay? So just pretend like you know how to read upside down. That's fine. So anyways, the first one we're going to learn about is photo. And photo happens to be a Greek root. Not that that's the most important thing, but it comes from Greek. Does anyone know what the Greek root photo means? Like phone meant sound. What do we think photo means? If you think you know, say it in the chat. If you have a guess at here, feel free to say it. What does photo mean? Landon? It is not what do you say? You have to speak up like a big kid, bud. That is exactly what a few people guessed here. It is not pictures. This one's really tricky. We should have done this one last. I don't know why I went with this one first. In the other class, I did the other one. It is not visual. It means photo equals light. Because you have to have light in order to take a photo. So now I want someone to list to me what word has the Greek root photo in it. Olivia, what's one? If you know one at home, type it in. Photograph. Perfect. And, we know what a photograph is. It's a picture you need light. What's another one? What? But we're doing photo, not graph. We're doing photo.
I mean, light graph, photograph. Graph's at the end.
Yeah, okay. Anyone else? Photogram is not a word. How about photocopy? When I use the copy machine at school, I'm making a photocopy and you have to have light. How about photography? You need light in order to take pictures. These ones kind of all have to do with photo. Yes. Whoever is raising their hand. Yes. What? Yes, photographer. Is that how you spell that? Photographer. I already have photography down. Okay, I don't know if that's how you spell photographer. I don't know how to spell photographer. Let me look it up real quick. Well, it's not going to be fine if I have to post a picture of it and it's spelled wrong. Okay, it's spelled right. Anyway, so all of these have photo in them. Coincidentally, all of these photos right in the beginning. So that is what photo means. It means light. So tomorrow when I'm like, hey guys, what does photo mean? You guys are going to be like, it means light. Okay? All right, we're going to move on to odd, A-U-D. And it comes from Latin. It's a Latin root. Odd. Does anyone know what AUD might mean? And like I said, I know it's backwards for you. I don't know how to fix it right now. I will post a picture later. You guys are verbally hearing it. We're making it work. What does odd mean? AUD. Anyone have any guesses? Not auto. It's odd. Ooh, you're close, Isabella. Some of you guys are close. Corgan? It does not mean sound. Okay, Addison, if you have to go, just watch the recording later.
Oh, I know.
Yeah? No. So, Miss Presley, you gave me a word, audio. If you think of that word, what do you have to do if you're blanking audio? It means what, Amia? Not listen. That's not exactly. Really close.
Looking.
Hear. It means hear. Odd means hear. So a word, audio, if you're hearing audio, that means you're hearing something. Another word would be an auditorium. You go to an auditorium to hear a concert or to hear a presentation. If something is inaudible, you cannot hear it. An audience, they listen to something.
Actually, when you think about that one, it really makes sense.
What?
Odd goes here.
It's the Greek root.
Yeah,
Look it up.
It
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying it doesn't make sense. I was like, what?
It makes sense.
Yeah. Are there any other words that anyone can think of with audio or odd? So you have audio, auditorium, audience, inaudible. Audible is another one. These are just all words that have it. So now we know odd or AUD means here. So tomorrow when I ask you that, you're going to know. And our last one for today and for this week and next week is another Latin word, and it is viz. Hopefully we might be able to get this one. What does viz mean? Oh, I see lots of hands here. What does viz mean? Jacqueline? See, woohoo! Viz means see, perfect. Like, for example, visible.
Invisible.
You can see it.
No?
Invisible means you can't see. Oh, wait, I did the wrong spot. Let me white out. Hey, boys and girls, I'm not really sure why we're shouting so much, but it's really distracting. So, invisible means you cannot see it, but it still has viz, and it's still talking about sight. So, invisible does count. The root does not always have to be in the beginning. So we have visible, invisible, vision. That literally, like my vision, is what I see with. How about supervision? I watch you. Or what did you say, Landon? Oh my gosh. If you shout out again, I will lose it. Okay? Lose it. Anyways. What did you say, Landon? Visitor. Because you're going to see someone. That's a good one. I actually didn't think of that one. Visitor. You're going to see someone. Or how about, I'm running out of space. television. I spelled television wrong. Oops. Let's try that again. Television. You're seeing it. So all of those are vision. You see them. Okay? So does anyone have any questions on either of these or any of these? Photo, which means light, odd, which means here, and vis, which means see. I promise I'm probably going to make it look neater. And then I'm going to put it on our Google Classrooms for those of you that are seeing it backwards right now. Super duper sorry. I'll figure it out next time, like hopefully tomorrow. Anyway, so super sorry you couldn't see it, but any questions? If not, give me a thumbs up. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Okay, cool. So I know some of you were having trouble getting on HMH, and I don't know why, again, it's being like slow poke, like it just apparently is because it wants to make Mrs. Kneifel. I know I left the meeting. It wants to make Mrs. Kneifel crazy is why it's not working, but it's okay because I have it uploaded on mine. So you guys, if you can't get on HMH to your story, you can just look at it on mine. I'm going to share my screen. So if you are on HMH, which is your reading website, I need you to go to assignments, and underneath assignments, you need to go to Prepare to Read Winds of Hope. Go to that assignment. I'm going to share my screen in 5 seconds. Okay, well, reopen the tab, Hannah. That wasn't something you needed to type. So I'm going to share my screen in case yours isn't working at home. Well, then I already sent you the link. You guys can go join the Google Meet too. If it's not working for you here at school, I sent you all the link. You can go on and join my Google Meet too. So anyways, we did this yesterday, the Prepare to Read. So I'm just going to give you a quick recap, and then we're going to start reading. So we should be able to finish this whole story today. So Winds of Hope would be a magazine article. It is in chronological order, meaning this happened, then this happened, then this happened. We're also going to, chronological order also has to do with text structure, and we're going to talk a little bit more about text structure further in the story. We're going to see photographs and captions. And can someone remind me what is on our front cover? I'm going to a bigger picture. What is on our giant front cover? Anyone? Anyone? It should be loading for you. What's on our front cover? Anyone? Anyone? Type it in the chat. Raise your hand. Anyone? Write in.
Windmill.
It is. It's a windmill. So remember, we were like, oh, this is probably going to have to do with something about wind, right? Like, we're going to make that assumption. Might have something to do with wind. All right. We are going to get started. Now, I'm going to tell you right now the name of this guy who this is about and the village where he lives. Mrs. Kneifel's probably going to mess it up. I apologize in advance. It's just, you know, sorry. All right. We are going to get started. Let me make sure there's no... Oh, I'm glad it worked for you, Jameson. Awesome. Yeah, some of you it might work. I don't know why. HMH is just killing me this week. It is not working with us. So I'm going to start reading. Parched red dust swirled on the wind as William, I'm going to call him William K because I cannot pronounce his last name, stooped between rows of chimanga or maize near his family's mud brick thatched home in Malawi, Africa. Oh my gosh, what a long sentence. Look at all those words Mrs. Kneifel didn't know how to pronounce. So first off, parched red dust. Does anyone know what parched means? If you know, since all of you guys are on the Google Meet, throw it in the chat. What does parched mean? Parched red dust. If you know what it means, give me a guess. It's okay if you don't know. Yeah, that's why we're going over it, because you may not know. Thirsty. Corgan wins. So parched. You're pretty close. Like in this, they're saying like the red dust is dry, Bryden, but the word parched means thirsty. So like right now, Mrs. Kneifel's talking a lot and I'm parched, okay? So they're saying that the dust is parched, meaning the dust is dry. The dust is thirsty. So instead of it being dirt like we have here, like soil outside, it is literally dust because there's no water in the ground. So the dust is swirling around William because there's wind, as he stoops between rows of chimanga or maize. Does anyone know what chimanga / maize means? If you don't know, maybe you could use your pages and look and see what is in the pictures and know what it means. What is maize or chamanga? Throw it in the chat if you know. I see lots of correct answers. It is corn. Maize is another name for corn, and apparently so is chamanga. All right, so it means corn. So that means this William is stooping between rows of corn, okay? Near his family's mud brick thatched home. Okay, so that means wherever he lives, we know he lives in Africa, mud bricks, that when, if you're thinking like, what's a mud brick? In other countries, their dirt is more like clay when it's wet. So what they do is they wet their dirt, and then they form it into bricks, and then they bake it in the sun, and it makes like bricks. And thatch is going to be like straw that you can like put mud over to make things strong. So anyways, he lives in like a hut, okay? He's not living in no brick building, or he doesn't have any drywall and siding. He's living in a hut. Do you have something to say, Landon? Yes, you did. I sent it to everyone in Mrs. Siddick's room, and you're in Mrs. Siddick's room. So look again. Okay, it's in your email. I just sent it at like 11 o'clock. Anyways, and if you don't have it, someone be nice and shoot in the link, okay? Or invite him. Someone do that for me. All right, anyways, so he lives in Africa. The maize, he's stooping between the maize or the corn. As the searing sun scorched his back, the 14-year-old wrapped his hands around a withered stalk. Okay, a withered stalk. What would withered mean? And think about it. We just talked about the searing sun, and it's scorched. If you scorch something, you kind of burn it. All right, I like dead, yeah. So it's dry, it's going to be brittle, it's going to be basically dead. If something's withered, it's going to be dry and brittle. It's not going to be very nice. They're very good. Instead of being plump and green, the maize was dry and brittle. So right there, withered means dry and brittle. It had grown barely knee-high. The maize should have been up to his father's chest by that time, but the rains have not come to nourish it. I like how the author used the word nourish there, because rainwater is how plants grow. Or water in general, doesn't have to be rainwater, but water is how plants grow. And if there's no rain coming and he's in basically desert in Africa, guess what? The plants, the maize, the corn is not going to be able to grow. So he's definitely struggling without his lovely corn drying. The drought of 2001 dragged on and on. How long ago was 2001? Yep, 19 years. Thank you. So the drought of 2001 dragged on and on for many months. William's family only had enough maize for one meal each day, then for just a small handful at night, and finally for only 4 mouthfuls. That is not a lot of food. All of us in here eat more than one meal a day. So they were only getting one meal a day, and it was just corn. And then they were only getting literally a handful. And then eventually they had 4 spoonfuls left. Like, they're out of food because their corn's not growing because of this drought. As they grew thinner and thinner, William feared they would all die of starvation. The following spring, William and his father knew that all they could do was begin again. They planted a new maize crop. This time, the rains came. The maize grew, ankle high, knee high, chest high. So that's awesome. Eventually, the rains came for the next season. So William's family definitely had to struggle for a while because they didn't have any food. But did they just give up and were like, oh, let's just all die? No. They decided, you know what? We know our only option is we have to replant. So they replanted, and guess what? The rain ended up coming, and it grew knee-high, chest-high. So their corn is growing. Woot, woot. So as you can see, this is a picture of William K. in the right-hand corner, and there's our caption. It says exactly who he is. There's a picture of him. And just further down on our page, there is some corn. Now we are heading to the next page. At the top of the page, there is more corn stalks. William hoped that life could now return to normal. All right, so it's going from drought to no drought. So he's thinking, okay, life's going to be fine now, no more drought. He'd worked hard to pass exams to enter high school. When the term began, however, William's father explained that because of the drought, there was no money to pay his school fees. It appeared that William's education would end at 8th grade. So that stinks because that's something he really wanted to do. But there was just some type of specific text structure we just read in that paragraph. Does anyone know what it's called? Because of the drought, there was no money for his school fee. Does anyone know what it's called? It's called blank and blank. Anyone know what type of text structure I'm talking about? This blanked this. Anyone? Landon, it has nothing to do with poor. It's a text structure. Cause and effect. Woohoo! Dylan wins. Whoop whoop. Go Dylan. We just read about cause and effect in that paragraph. The drought was the cause. The effect was they had no more money. Okay, make sure you're on mute because I can't hear myself twice. Because then now I forgot what I was gonna say. So the drought caused, there was a drought. The effect, there was no money to send him to school, so now his education has to stop, which stinks because he'd worked really hard to continue. So, though he could not attend school, William still wanted to learn. He was curious about many things. Oh my goodness, Mrs. Kneifel just had a text-to-text connection. Where did we recently just read in another text about people being curious? Type it in my chat. When did I also read about people being curious recently? Dun, da, da, da. Text-to-text connection. This text is relating to this text. Thank you, Kaden. The Inventor's Secret. Yup. In The Inventor's Secret, Thomas Edison and Henry Ford were very, very curious. And look, now we have another person in a real story, nonfiction, that's also curious. He took apart radios trying to discover how they made music. One day, turning a bicycle upside down and cranking the pedals by hand, he figured out that the dynamo that generated electricity for the headlight could be wired to power a radio instead. Some days, William visited the village library. It only had 3 shelves, but William found books that interested him. Science books about how things worked. One day he was looking for a dictionary on the bottom shelf. He found a book that he hadn't seen before, pushed behind the others. It was an American school textbook called Using Energy. On the book's cover was a picture of a the first time we read about windmills, and we know that there's a windmill on the front cover, so we need to know that that's probably important. So even though William could not go to school, did he just give up and was like, oh, I don't need to learn anymore? No, instead, he was a determined person, and he went to the village library that only had 3 shelves of books. That's not that many books. That's probably around 100 books. And he was able to find books that still interested him, which is great. It shows he's determined and that he really wants to learn. He liked the science books most, it seems like. And he was able to find one that said, or that was about using energy. So here, hopefully, is where we find out a little bit more about energy. You may turn the page if you're on. If not, you can just look at my screen turning the page. As soon as it loads, we will continue. All right. From this book, William learned that wind, something of which Mawalai had plenty, could produce electricity. If you have plenty of it, that means you have a what? What's another word for plenty? All right, someone said it here. Type it into the chat so other people can see it. A lot. Yeah, so if you have plenty of it, you have a lot. So naturally, where he lives in Africa, there's just a ton of wind. So that's probably good. That's going to be good on his side. William was delighted, which means, super happy. Only 2% of the houses in Mawalai had electricity. 2%? That'd be like if there was 20 houses, only 2 of them would have electricity. That's not that much, okay? Like, that's not good. If William could build a windmill, his family could have lights in their home. And a windmill could be used to pump water to irrigate the family's maize fields. If another drought came, the windmill could provide the water for life. So I like how the author said the water for life, because previously during the drought, they could have died because they starved because their corn didn't produce. So getting their corn water basically gives them life, because then they're able to eat it. So it's like life or death having that corn crop or that maize crop. So this windmill he's reading about could not only generate light, but could generate a pump, so they're able to get water. William could picture in his mind the windmill he wanted to build, but collecting the parts and tools he needed would take months. In a junkyard across from the high school, William dug through piles of twisted metal, rusted cars, and worn-out tractors, searching for anything that might help him construct his machine. He took a ring of a ball bearing from an old peanut grinder and the cooling fan from a tractor engine. Cracking open a shock absorber, he removed the steel piston inside. He made 4-foot long blades from plastic pipe, which he melted over fire, flattened out, and stiffened with bamboo poles. Okay, I don't know about you, but William is seeming super determined right now. He's like, okay, I read about this windmill. I'm going to make this windmill. Making this windmill is clearly not an easy task. He's literally saying, Jameson, we shouldn't be saying hi to people in my chat, please. Landon, you're in class. You should only be answering questions that I ask. So obviously making this windmill is not an easy task. He literally said it's going to take months. He's basically digging through garbage. He's at a junkyard and he's going through old things, metal, which probably isn't the safest thing to be digging around in, to try to find parts. And then he's finding the parts. I mean, to make the blades of a fan, make the blades of the windmill, he literally got plastic pipes, melted them over fire, and then he flattened them out, and then he hit them with bamboo poles. Okay, that's like 5, and then you still have to attach them. That's like 5 steps just to get the blades. So he's clearly very determined to make this windmill. I, for one, I mean, I guess if I didn't have electricity, I might try it out, but that's a lot of work to be doing that. So, go him. Earning some money loading logs into a truck, he paid a welder to attach the piston to the pedal socket of an old bicycle frame. This would be the axle for the windmill. When the wind blew, the rotating blades would turn the bicycle wheel, like someone pedaling, and spin a small dynamo. Although he had no money for a dynamo, a friend came to the rescue and bought one from a man in the road right off his bike. So, thank you, friend, and thank you, welder. He had to work an odd job just to get someone to weld. The welder is a type of machine that you have to do stuff. It's like this hot thing, and then you get like iron, and you light it up. Yeah, you basically melt metal together, but it's a huge machine, or is a machine, so you can't he just doesn't have one. So he even had to raise money to do that. So once again, go William, extra determined. When he had collected all the parts, William took them out in the corner of his bedroom, laid them outside in the shade of the acacia tree, and began putting them together. So he literally was just collecting, and keeping them all in a pile, but he's got everything. Time to set it up. Since he did not have a drill to make bolt holes, he shoved a nail through a maize cob, heated it in the fire, then pushed its point through the plastic blade. And if you're like, Mrs. Kneifel, what? That doesn't even make sense. Okay. So when Mrs. Kneifel needs to make a hole in something, I go get my husband's drill and I go, zzz, takes about 3 seconds, okay? But he didn't have a drill. He didn't have anything like that. So what he had was a nail. Well, if you heat up metal, it's going to be able to go through plastic easier. But if you put a nail in the fire, even if you just put the end in it, the whole entire thing will heat up, and then you'll obviously get burned. So he put the nail through a corn cob so he could hold onto the corn cob without it getting hot, but still heat up the nail. Once again, a ton of steps, just so he could put a little hole through the plastic blades. He bolted the blades to the tractor fan using washers he'd made from bottle caps. I don't have a bottle cap with me right now, but if you know what a washer is, it's like a metal disc with a circle in the middle. So he literally took a bottle cap. They're probably metal bottle caps where he lives, and he was able to cut it out or file it down to make a washer. Yes, Olivia. That's nice. Yeah, washers can do a ton of things. So anyways, he made his own washers. He didn't buy them from the store. He literally had to make them. Next, he pushed the fan onto the piston wheel, welded it to the bike frame. With the help of his 2 best friends, William built a 16-foot tall tower from trunks of the blue gum tree and hoisted the 90-pound windmill to the top. Okay. 15 feet or 16 feet is really tall. I'm 5 foot. So if you stacked, I'm 5'3" actually. So if you put 3 of me on top of me plus 3 more inches, that's how tall his windmill is. So once they get the poles up, then they had to lift 90 pounds of windmill all the way up to the top. So that's obviously a big job. So luckily he had friends. Go him. Paragraph 11. Shoppers, farmers, and traders could see Williams Tower from the local market. They came in a long line to find out what the boy was up to. Okay. This next part, I like this next part on the page. So William knew this was his moment to show everyone he wasn't crazy, to find out if his experiment worked. Okay, so he's got this windmill up. It's 16 feet in the air. He's been working on it for months and months. I'm sure people in the village know about it. Now people can see it, and everyone's probably like, what is this guy doing? Why is he doing this? Like, what the heck? And now they're coming to watch him, and he doesn't even know if it's going to work. He said this is his moment. So he's probably like, okay, so now or never. Is it going to work? Is it not going to work? If it doesn't work, people are going to be like, oh, you wasted time, or you're wasting supplies, or you're not very smart. So he has a lot riding on it. It's like a huge moment for him. He connected 2 wires from the dynamo to a light socket he made from a reed and held a small bulb. As the wind ripped around him, he removed the bent spoke he jammed into the wheel to lock it. Then he held his breath. So imagine, he's like so nervous. He's got everything going, so it's supposed to start, and he's just like, hoping it's going to start. The blades began to turn, slowly at first, then faster and faster. The light bulb flickered, then flashed to life. The crowd cheered from below. So, did his invention work? Yeah. Woohoo! Yeah. So he was able to do this. And remember, he only went to school till 8th grade, and he learned this from a book, just a book. It's not like he had the internet, and from collecting parts. So that's amazing. A month later, William found enough wire to reach from the windmill into his house. His family crowded around to marvel as the small bulb lit up in William's room. Reading, explaining physics by light, he stayed up long after others had gone to bed. So, even though he made it work, go windmill, it's working, it still took him a month to find what he needed to light up his house. Okay, so once again, he's determined. He has used so much perseverance. Here's a picture on the right-hand side that says William's cousin climbs one of the windmills on the Columbia farm, which that one of the windmills, that implies that eventually he was able to make more windmills, okay? And then here's another picture below, and it says William's parents stand outside their home. William's windmill towers in the background. So there's more than one tower in the background, so we know he was eventually able to make more than one. Turning to the next page, and we're going to read a little bit more about William and what all this meant for him. Besides now having electricity, go him. Oh, let me try to zoom in a little bit. Okay. In 2006, so this is 5 years later from when he wasn't going to school, a school inspector saw the windmill and informed his head office. William's machine now powered 4 lights and 2 radios in his house. He'd added a storage battery with homemade switches and a circuit breaker. He also charged village cell phones. Soon, William was being interviewed on the radio and photographed for the newspaper. The story of the boy with only an 8th grade education who built electric wind spread across the internet. So he's getting a lot of publicity for what he's done. In 2007, the 19-year-old who had not attended school for 5 years was flown to Tanzania to speak at the prestigious TED conference, featuring innovators from around the world in technology, education, and design. So if you don't know what a TED Talk is, Mrs. Knife loves TED Talks. TED Talks is where it's like read and they go to an auditorium of some type and there's a speaker and other people listen. So in this case, William was the speaker and the people listening were like the head or the best in their field in technology, education, and design. So really important, really smart people were listening to him. And he's never even gone to college, never even went to high school. He just built a windmill. So that's probably a big moment for him. Nervously struggling with his English, William received a rousing ovation from the auditorium of inventors and scientists when he modestly described what he had done. Modestly means he's not bragging about it. He's just telling them simply, this is what I did, this is how I did it. He's not like, oh yeah, it's the best thing ever. You guys wish you could have done it. That's not what it's like. William attended Dartmouth College in the United States, where he studied environmental science and engineering. He graduated in 2014. William is dedicated to bringing wind and solar power, electricity, and water pumps to impoverished villages. Hey, what? Sorry. William is dedicated to bringing wind and solar powered electricity and water pumps to impoverished villages in rural Africa. Remember, impoverished means like poor, they're doing without. Okay, we should not be typing in the chat. So Landon, Amia, Rainier, we should only be typing things that this should be. Oh, I like that. That's a good one, Presley. Anyways, we should only be typing things that are pertinent to our chat. So all of you people randomly typing things, not okay. 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 So he was lucky and he's super smart because he went out and he learned things. He didn't just not go to school and sit at home and his brain filled with stuff, Isabella. What he did is he wasn't able to go to school, but he was able to read books and take things apart and learn that way. So even though he didn't go to school, he was super smart because he tried to learn and stuff, okay? But obviously, we all have to go to school. It's actually a law in Indiana. You have to be in school, so don't think none of you can not go to school. So we are about out of time. It is a law, I promise. You do have to go to school. We are about out of time today, but thankfully we were able to finish our story. Tomorrow, we're going to answer some collaborative discussion questions. You might have one question for homework. Thursday, we're going to reread the story and take our quiz. Friday is going to be a work day for your writing prompt and for AR reading. So if you guys don't have any questions, remember, next time we only use the chat for questions Mrs. Kneifel asked, or if you have a question. But if you don't have any questions, you are free to leave me. If you have a question, please put it in the chat. If you're here in class, you can... Oh, wait, code word. Don't get off. Landon, you're in class. You don't need to say bye-bye. Code word is... Code word is potato head. So that's your only homework for tonight is putting in potato head and obviously working on your writing prompt. Potato head. So all of you may leave once you're good to go. Thanks for joining. Sorry if I was talking fast. I promise I will get this up sometime today so you guys can review it, okay? Thanks, guys.
Peace out.
Bye.
Bye. Have a good day.
Bye, you too. Oh, wait, I don't mean to do that. Hey, what am I doing? I want to stop recording. So you guys need to put in potato head, and then you guys have about 3 minutes to read or work on other work. If you're at home, put in potato head. I'll see you guys later. Landon, get off my call. You're like 5 seconds away from like being in trouble. So let's get it